Hello, I'm Auli Gia. I'm your teacher on this course, Creating Insight into Customers and End Users. This is lecture 7 on consumer segmentation. Here are the learning objectives for this session. To understand the criteria for targeting selected segments effectively, and to understand the basis for segmenting customers or consumers. As noted in the previous lectures, not all the consumers are alike. Different consumers have different needs. Segmentation enables companies to choose the target markets, to differentiate their products according to the desires of each segment, and choose appropriate marketing messages and media. Here are presented the basis for consumer-rooted segmentation: demographics, geodemographics, personality traits, lifestyles, and social-cultural elements. Demographic segmentation consists of age, gender, marital status, family life cycle, income, education, and occupation. Demographics are the core of almost all segmentation because they are easy and logical. Age segmentation includes segments such as the baby boomers, generations X and Y. Family life cycle is based on the premise that many families pass through similar phases in their lives and share major life events such as moving, marriage, birth of a child, and retirement. Income, education, and occupation tend to tie together and lead to segmentation based on social class. Here are questions that students are expected to reflect and discuss further on the course blog. What types of marketers might segment according to social class? What ethical issues might marketers have when marketing to different social classes? This discussion should be presented on the course blog and also noted, written down in the learning diary. Demographic segmentation is based on geography and demographics. This is a popular use of geography in targeting. People who live close to one another are likely to be similar in tastes, incomes, lives, and lifestyles and consumption patterns. They might eat similar foods, like the same movies, and take the same types of vacations. Marketers may segment people according to geographic criteria such as nations, states, regions, countries, cities, neighborhoods, or postal codes. The GeoCluster approach combines demographic data with the geographic data to create a more accurate or specific profile with respect to region. In rainy regions, merchants can sell things like raincoats, umbrellas, and gum boots. In hot region, one can sell summer wear. In cold regions, one can sell warm clothes A small business commodity store may target only customers from the local neighborhood, while a larger department store can target its market towards several neighborhoods in a larger city or area, while ignoring customers in other continents. There are also other segmentation bases: psychographic segmentation, behavioral segmentation, segmentation by occasion, segmentation by benefits. Psychographics involve using sciences like psychology and demographics to better understand consumers. Psychographic segmentation divides consumers according to their lifestyles, personality, values, and social class. Consumers within the same demographic group can exhibit very different psychographic profiles. Let us take the demographic group of aged people. According to general classifications, people are considered aged or seniors starting from 60 or 65 up to the end of life. This means nowadays when people are living very often to 80, 85, even 95 and over 100, that we're talking of an age group that consists of people that might have 30 to 40 years of age differences. The psychographic segmentation takes into consideration the different phases of age, because it is taking into consideration other elements than just age: lifestyle, personality, values, social class. This can be differ even in a small age group between, let's say, people around their 60s living in towns or living in small villages, differ relatively much from each other. Likewise, people that have small incomes compared to those with relative good pensions have completely different consumption patterns. Behavioral segmentation divides consumers into groups according to their knowledge of, attitudes towards, and use of or response to a product. Segmentation according to occasions relies on the special needs and desires of consumers on various occasions. For example, products for use in relation with a certain holiday. Products such as Christmas decorations or Diwali lamps are marketed almost exclusively in the time leading up to the related event, and will not generally be available all around the year. Another type of occasional market segments are people preparing for a wedding or a funeral, occasions which only occur a few times in a person's lifetime, but which happen so often in a large population that ongoing general demand makes for a worthwhile marketing segment. Segmentation can take place according to benefits sought by the consumer or according to perceived benefits which a product or service may provide. Let us take, for example, mobile telephones. In this sector, you can find very different kind of services offered by different kind of mobiles. Certain a certain segment, consumer segments, are very interested in mobile phones that offer services on internet and internet chatting and surfing, while others are more interested about using a mobile phone as a telephone. And there are even people who prefer taking their photos with a camera instead of a mobile telephone. So the benefits sought by different consumers differ really in an important way. Personality traits helps us identify what segments are valuable to marketers. For instance, if an innovator also classifies themselves as an exhibition personality trait, it means that they want to be at the center of a group and might be important as such. And these type of innovators spread word of mouth messages easily around them regarding new products and services. Lifestyle are a part of psychographics, and they tell about activities, interests, opinions, and they explain buyers' purchase decisions and choices. These are questions students are expected to reflect and discuss on the course blog. How might you personally differ from a person with a similar demographics to yourself? How would this be important for marketers? Reflect these, discuss about these on the course blog, and don't forget to mark them down, the reflections, in your learning diary. This was the end of this session. Thank you. Hello, I'm Auli Gia. This is our 6th lecture on the course Creating Insight into Customers and End Users. This is about market segmentation. The learning objectives for this session are the following: to understand why market segmentation is essential. First question: what do you think? What kind of consumers does this ad target? There's a lovely young lady seemingly running somewhere in the nature. This ad targets runners who are physically active people and also relish the outdoor life. A clearly targeted advertisement. So why is segmentation necessary? Not all consumers are alike. Different consumers have different needs. By segmenting the market and choosing target markets, companies can differentiate their products to provide the benefits that the segments desire. Once a marketer has identified their segment, they can choose media that is targeted to that segment for their advertising. To resume, consumer needs differ. Differentiation helps to create appropriate products for different segments, and also to identify the appropriate media and marketing messages for each segment. Positioning is the unifying element of effective sales and marketing. Product, place, price, and promotional strategies must work to state the product or service's ability to deliver benefits to the consumer. Positioning is about the product's place, price, and promotional strategies to each target group. There are 5 criteria for effective targeting, as shown on this slide. First of all, the target must be identifiable. This means that the marketer must be able to see or find the characteristics they have chosen for each segmentation. The segment must also be sizable. It must be large enough to be profitable to the marketer, to the company. A stable segment means that the consumers are not fickle and likely to change very quickly. A group of consumers must be accessible to be targeted. And the marketer must be able to reach that market in an affordable way. Finally, the target must be congruent with the company's objectives and resources. These are the 5 criteria for effective targeting. The segment must be identifiable, it must be sizable, appropriate size to be a target. It must be stable and accessible and congruent with the objectives of the company. What about these advertisements? Which distinct benefit does each of the 2 brands shown in this figure deliver? The identity that benefit is fresh breath. So the one on the left presents fresh breath. And the Nicorette ad is whitening and smoking cessation. This 2x2 matrix is important for understanding types of segmentation schemes. It is possible to break segmentation into 2 broad groups. Those that are based on consumers themselves, and those that are based on the consumer's interaction or potential interaction with the product, and therefore consumption based. Within each of these 2 larger types of schemes, segmentation variables can be considered to be based on the fact what is absolutely known and measurable about the consumer versus cognitions which are abstract and can be determined only through more complex questioning. Let us have a closer look on this 2-to-2 matrix. So consumer-rooted facts are such as demographics and geographic elements. Demographics such as age cohorts, gender, marital status, family life cycle, income, education, occupation, social class. Geographical location address, and demographics. And then consumption-based facts such as usage rates, usage situation, where the product or service is used, how often, how important is brand loyalty, and psychographics, factual behaviors related to leisure activities and hobbies. And cognitions, consumer-rooted cognitions such as personality traits, lifestyles, psychographics, sociocultural values and beliefs. Very difficult to measure, require very deep questions. And consumption-based cognitions are such as benefits that the consumer wants from the product, level of involvement, awareness of product alternatives, and brand loyalty. For example, level of perceived commitment and relationship to the brand. This table you are expected to learn and use during this course. There is further discussion expected to be on this matter on the course blog. Considering Nordea Bank of Finland, how might consumer needs differ? What type of products might meet the needs of different consumer groups? What advertising media makes sense for the different segments of consumers? After reflecting this on your own, students are expected to discuss this with the peers on the course blog. This was the end of this session.